Namaste. Welcome back to my show, Story Time with Prashanti Vaishnavi. I am an ex-Balvika student and I was recently asked by my Samiti in Chinnanagar, Chennai to give a speech for the Balvika's children there. Hence I thought I'll upload the same speech in YouTube. Om Shri Sai Ram. My humble pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba. The first thing that comes to my mind when I think of Swami is the ocean. Imagine that we are standing in front of the seashore. From there, can we guess or find out how deep the sea is? Not possible, right? Only the person who ventures deep into the sea can know its depth and also see its hidden treasures. Those who don't leave the seashore at all, they have to be content with the smaller things at the shores like shells, etc. Similarly, Swami is like an ocean. The deeper we bond with him, like in spiritual or emotional level, the more blessings we will receive. Swami has said, take one step towards me and I will take 100 steps towards you. Swami's blessings and grace is same for all. Let's think of his blessings as the rain. When rainwater falls in the river, it becomes clear. When the same rainwater falls into the sea, it becomes salty. So Swami's grace depends on the kind of person that we are. Let's see a small example. There are two boys, Ram and Shyam. Both travel from Chennai to Kanchipuram every day. While Ram follows all the traffic rules, Shyam's focus is only on reaching early, even if it means breaking some of the rules. Shyam drives rashly, he jumps signals, he doesn't slow down even in the bends or bother to use indicators, etc. Now, who has higher chances of reaching safely, Ram or Shyam? Even though it may initially seem like Shyam is making a quicker progress, he is at a greater risk of accident. But Ram, on the other hand, just like Swami says, starts early, drives slowly, and he reaches safely because he is following all the rules laid for driving. Similarly, in our lives, if we abide by the teachings of Swami, definitely our journey will be pleasant and we'll reach our destination safely. Like Swami says, life is a game, play it. Life is a song, sing it. Like any game, life also has rules which Swami has taught us, and if we follow those rules, our lives will be filled with happiness and joy. When I say joy, I remember this wonderful incident told by our brother Amey Deshpande. When he was a primary school student in Swami school, the children there used to get one amazing prasadam every Thursday and Sunday. He said, in fact, more than the darshan of Bhagwan, they used to eagerly wait for the prasadam that they would get from his hands. So it was a Sunday, a very hot Sunday morning, and they were all eagerly waiting for the ice cream distribution. Out and out were coming these ice cream packets, and Swami was eagerly distributing them to all the children there. They were all busy munching away the ice cream, and when they wanted a second one, Swami was giving it to them. But you know how Bhagwan is. He doesn't miss a single opportunity to convey what he actually wants to tell us. So even as they were munching away and Swami was watching them with joy, he would say, Tinnu Tinnu, Inka Tinnu. And he would just, and on that day he made this comment. He said, you know, God is like ice cream. God is like pure white ice cream. God is sweet like ice cream. And God is cool like ice cream. And that's why he's called as Joy Ice Cream. Actually, the name of the ice cream given on that day was Joy Ice Cream. This was an incident that was told by our brother Amey Deshpande. He said, Swami didn't even miss a single opportunity to convey the most important lesson. We may not know the exact definition of God, but we'll certainly remember this definition of God which Swami told on that day. Sweet like ice cream, cool like ice cream. And I think that's one of the most beautiful definition of God as per Ramesh Deshpande. Okay, so if we follow Swami's teachings and abide strictly by his rules, can we conclude that we'll definitely have a smooth journey, we'll never face any difficulties in our lives? Swami says life is a challenge, meet it. We all will definitely face hardships in our lives at one point of time or the other. In Mahabharata, Arjuna says, everyone except Lord Narayana surely has to undergo a rough phase sometime or the other. The virtues one exhibits during this phase ultimately defines a person. The magnitude may vary, but the phase is sure. After all, we are born for that. So he says there is no point worrying about the fate, but one has to learn the lessons it has to teach and be humble always. So that's exactly why Swami emphasizes us Balvika's children to learn the stories from Mahabharata and Ramayana. Stories of Rama, Krishna, Draupadi. They teach us how they underwent hardships in their lives. But even during these tough times, they lived a principled life. These stories are an inspiration for us on how to face hardships without deviating from the path of Dharma. Lord Rama was supposed to be crowned as king in Ayodhya. He was the favorite of all his people, and the whole Ayodhya was eagerly awaiting this event for its favorite son to take over the throne. But things changed dramatically overnight. His coronation was stopped. He was sent away to the forest for 14 years. Also, the king Dasharatha passed away a few days after Rama, Sita and Lakshmana went to the forest. At least, was his stay in the forest peaceful? He faced many challenges during this time. His toughest challenge was when his wife Sita was taken away by Ravana. The mighty Lord Rama, who once commanded over such a big army while in Ayodhya, now had to take the help of monkeys and squirrels at such a difficult time. Can you imagine that a person who was about to be king the next day was now in such a tough situation? Had it been us, we would have definitely felt heartbroken and might have as well given up. But Lord Rama showed us by example how to face difficult situations in life. Eventually, he was able to cross over to Lanka and rescue Sita after defeating the mighty Ravana. This is by no means a small task. He then returned to Ayodhya and ruled for 11,000 years. His rule was so good that Ramarajya is talked about even today by even politicians. Tough people last, tough times don't. I would like to share another incident told by a Swami student. There was a Swami student who wanted to pursue marine engineering after his 12th standard. So he went to Swami and told him his wish. Swami told no and to continue in his college. That's it. No one can oppose Swami's words. Although he was initially a bit upset, he rightly listened to Swami's words and continued in Swami's college. Later, after many years, this guy, he went on a holiday trip to Andaman with his family by ship. It was the first time he was traveling by ship and he was very excited and looking forward to that travel. But unlike what he thought, he did not enjoy the journey at all and he fell sick, he got nauseous and he got terrible seasickness. Upon introspection after the holiday, he realized that it was actually a blessing in disguise when Swami stopped him from taking up marine engineering. It would have been nearly impossible for him to be a marine engineer with seasickness affecting him so badly. So he was grateful and thankful to Swami. Similarly, we may not understand why something is happening to us right now. We may think, why is Swami not fulfilling my wish? But later, maybe several years later, on retrospection, we may understand that all that happened was for good. So, like it said in Bhagavad Gita, whatever happened is for good. Whatever is happening, that is also for good. And whatever will happen will also be for good. Once, Swami visited the Prashant Nilayam school and asked the marks of few students. He first asked one student, "What is your mark?" That student got up and said confidently that he got 92%. He was so sure that Swami would praise him. But Swami said, "Okay, you can improve," and he moved on to the next boy. The next boy, he was feeling so ashamed to even stand up. He slowly stood up and said, 64 Swami. He was worried that Swami would tell him, he would scold him because Swami had told to improve for even 92%. But you know what Swami said? Swami said, "Good, keep it up." Everyone there were left wondering why Swami praised the student who got 64 but told the one who got 92 to improve. Strange, right? But Swami knows everything. The only reason is that the boy who got 64 had put in 100% of his efforts and given the exam, whereas the student who got 92 did not put in all his efforts. So, Swami values the efforts rather than results. Results may or may not follow as a fruit of our efforts, but we must always continue to put forth our 100% of effort all the time. Most of you watch cricket match. I don't watch match, but most of you watch, and Dhoni is everybody's favorite. That's mainly because he remains calm even under extreme pressure, right? Even if his team has lost a match, he will never lose his temper or react angrily. Once he spoke in an interview about how he is able to remain calm even during such a stressful situation and how he doesn't get affected by the result. But how can one remain so calm all the time? That is because he said he follows process oriented approach and not result oriented approach. He said he tries to follow the correct process and believes that appropriate results will follow. He enjoys what he is doing at that moment rather than thinking too far ahead. There is a saying, enjoy the journey rather than waiting for the destination to arrive to start being happy. This is something even which I have to learn. I mean, almost all the things are something that I have to learn. Still, we all know this famous words from Bhagavad Gita. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, which means do your duty and leave the results to God. But it doesn't mean that you should resort to inaction. In this way, you can always remain happy, come what may, in our lives. But what is happiness? It is a state of mind. If we think this situation is making me happy, we are happy. We can either consider a glass to be half full, half empty, or half filled with water and half filled with air. Swami says, what you think is what you are. I would like to finish this with a small incident from Swami's life which emphasizes on the importance of thought. This incident was told by our brother Aravind Balasubramaniam, and I am just quoting his words, literally word to word. Once, Kannamma came to Swami and said, "Swami, now you will go, you will forget all of us." "Swami, what is that we should do, Swami, so that you will never forget us?" Swami smiles and says, "Come here." He takes a small piece of paper and he writes a song for her in Telugu. Swami is writing this and giving to Kannamma. Swami says, whenever you miss me, you sing this song and I will show my presence. I really wish to play this song, just one line of this song, so that we can listen.
మరచితివేమో మదిలో మన్ను కైలాస ప్రభువా మరచితివేమో మదిలో మన్ను కైలాస ప్రభువా మరచితివేమో మదిలో మన్ను కైలాస ప్రభువా ఓ సాయినాథ ప్రభువా మరుగు చేరితే అముదరి చేర్పుము మరుగు చేరితే.
Actually, it need not be that particular song, but just any song we sing thinking of Swami, definitely he will come to us. He has told that himself. So that's the power of thought, and that's the power of good thoughts. So let's all try and attempt to cultivate good thoughts which will lead to good actions, and always keep Swami in our thoughts. Jai Sai Ram.